Despite receiving the EU-funded 340 million Kina STREIT Program from the Marape-Rosso National Government, Honourable Allan, Governor of East Sepik, still boldly decided to resign from the government. The Marape-Rosso Government uses O'Neill-Abel's then EU initiative for political point scoring, while Honourable Richard Maru bitterly delayed the initiatives, almost resulting in PNG losing €85 million, approximately 340 million Kina. Allan demonstrates strategic leadership for a greater Sepik. Welcome. If you're new to our channel, please subscribe. We deliver content backed by extensive research from credible sources, along with our in-depth analysis and insights. We cover a wide range of topics, including political backlogs, bureaucratic hurdles, and systems and techniques that hinder government services, as well as the ongoing sagas and dilemmas shaping political trends in Papua New Guinea. Why did Governor Allan resign after receiving the EU-funded 340 million Kina STREIT Program? First of all, the EU-STREIT PNG program is a European Union-funded initiative and is designed to promote sustainable economic growth and improve livelihoods in the East and West Sepik provinces of Papua New Guinea. The program's focus is on boosting productivity and enhancing the value of key agricultural sectors, particularly cocoa, vanilla and fisheries. With a total budget of €81.3 million, about 340 million Kina, the EU-STREIT PNG program, which runs from 2019 to 2025, is primarily based in the East and West Sepik provinces. Its main beneficiaries include rural communities, SMEs, the national government, provincial authorities, and civil society groups. The program is being implemented in partnership with key organizations such as the Food and Agriculture Organization, the International Labour Organization, the International Telecommunication Union, the United Nations Capital Development Fund, and the United Nations Development Program. This program was made possible through EU's representative here in PNG. This is a follow-up initiative based on PNG relationship with EU under the Cotonou Agreement, which covers Africa, Caribbean, and the Pacific nations. It is a multilateral agreement. As a member state of this agreement, PNG government, within the framework of the Cotonou Agreement, the then O'Neill government signed the National Indicative Program for PNG. Through the Cotonou Agreement, the EU announced a pool of funds totaling up to €184 million, about 708 million Kina available for various programs, including WASH, education, and more. However, the PNG government missed out on fully securing this funding opportunity due to delays in advancing project design and scoping as part of the EU's cumbersome and stringent process to acquire EU grants. The inability to promptly finalise project plans led to a portion of the funds being recalled and redirected to EU headquarters in Brussels. And so during the O'Neill government, the initial discussions in early 2017 seized the involvement of various government departments including the EU, Department of National Planning and Monitoring, Agriculture, Transport, National Fisheries Authority, and PNG Forests Authority, amongst others. The idea is to plan how the remaining funds will be secured, used, and perhaps to support national-scale infrastructure, roads, renewable energy, IT, business entrepreneurship, and access to financial literacy, in line with EU objectives and PNG government priority investment areas. As a result of these discussions, the donor and the PNG government, through its responsible department, agreed to use the remaining funding for strategic positioning opportunities to attract greater funding in the future, with an emphasis on sustainability and maximising the impact of the funding. As a result, the EU has requested a more defined geographical focus, as well as the identification of key value chains. All stakeholders, including the Department of National Planning and Monitoring, agreed to concentrate the program in one specific location rather than dispersing the funds across multiple areas. East Sepik province was chosen as the ideal site for the project based on various feasibility and viability observations. The three main value chains identified for this program are vanilla, cocoa, and fisheries. Honourable Allan, given his wealth of knowledge and experience regarding the potential of agriculture, particularly vanilla and cocoa, which have been cash crops in his province East Sepik, has demonstrated a deep understanding of global market trends, including domestic market potential, the supply and value chain systems, industry bottlenecks, and the challenges farmers face in reaching end markets.
No one is going to give us 450 million Kina to do it. You know, that's not going to stop us. I have a lot of faith in my farmers. And I know that if I put the necessary at their doorstep, they will take advantage of it. So we cannot afford 450 million Kina to replace 90 million seedlings, but we can afford to put at least 1,000 nurseries across East and West Sepik.
He has also advocated for transformative interventions that the government should have employed to revolutionize the agriculture sector. Mr. Bird, in his wisdom, has been demanding strategic investments from the government even before his political career.
It's directly in relation to the agricultural commodities. At the time when East Sepik was producing about 22,000 tons of cocoa a year, before the port borer hit us, East Sepik is exporting 95% or producing 95% of the vanilla in the country and putting the country on the map. However, the exports are being made from other provinces again. Now suppose mibla inonablo kisim donor funds, suppose government inablo luglug lo painim sambla road, at least derivative grants way come up lo hard work, blo all hard working farmers blo people blo East Sepik. At least this money must come back, regardless of which province they are exporting it from.
He was aware of the EU funding opportunity before his election to Parliament in August 2017. Upon his election, he paid a courtesy visit to the EU mission to advance this matter. In November 2017, under his leadership, the East Sepik Provincial Government teamed up with the West Sepik Provincial Government to complete the scoping around cocoa as per EU requirements. All parties agreed upon the final document and subsequently approved by Brussels. The leadership of Governor Allan Bird and those who collaborated on this by meeting the EU's requirements have strategically positioned his province to be eligible for the funding. Following on from this, in 2018, the O'Neill's government announced that East Sepik to receive the EU 240 million Kina grant to assist rural cocoa farmers. However, Honourable Richard Maru, the Minister for National Planning and Monitoring at that time, delayed the signing of the document even though Brussels had approved it, and their Finance Minister had signed the documents, awaiting Mr. Maru as the third and last signatory before the fund is committed to the PNG Central Bank. This raises a lot of concerns as a large portion of the funds through the Cotonou Agreement, as mentioned previously, was lost due to the government's inability to secure it. If the delays continue, PNG might also risk losing the 340 million Kina grant. According to a Facebook post by Governor Bird, he stated that Mr. Maru has written a total of 8 letters, each demanding changes to the EU's original design in various ways. In some cases, he even requested the full cancellation of the project or the reallocation of all the funds to another sector. On June 24, 2019, as reported by the national newspaper, Maru stated that he would sign the documents. However, the delay was due to the need to review and renegotiate the initial scope submitted by the East Sepik Provincial Government, which did not include key components such as infrastructure, specifically roads. Maru believed that 50% of the funds should be allocated for infrastructure. He also noted that the significant funding amounting to 340 million Kina must be distributed fairly across the entire Marape-Rosso region.
So in the case of the European Union funding, it is wrong for the East Sepik governor to say the money belongs to the people of East Sepik. He has no mandate, no right to mislead his people and the people of Papua New Guinea. And no other governor should ever say that. That is fundamentally flawed, outside of protocol. He doesn't have the mandate and he's in fact misled everyone. And I want to make that very clear to all our citizens today. That is a clear function of the national government of Papua New Guinea and certainly not an East Sepik function. He should not even be commenting on donor funding. It's not his mandate. Just like I do not go and comment on East Sepik provincial government issues. He hasn't been inviting me to PSC meetings, and I accept that there's another level of government and that's for him to manage. I do not go and involve that one to play cheap politics for God's sake. In the same way, he needs to learn to respect that donor funding is a function of the national government through the Department and Ministry of National Planning. So he should not have even commented on that, gone to the media, lied to everybody that we are going to lose that funding. He doesn't know anything about this funding. We are the ones that are dealing with the EU. I want to make that very clear to all our citizens.
The political debate around the use of the EU funds between Mr. Maru and Governor Allan Bird appears that the East Sepik Provincial Government hijacked the program. This consequently led to an investigation of the Honourable Allan Bird by the Ombudsman Commission into the EU grants fiscal management. However, Mr. Bird argued that if the opportunity had been a national or Marape region grant, he could be charged with misappropriation. He contended that the funds were made available, and the East Sepik Provincial Government met the funding requirements through its scoping, which was approved by the donor. On June 25, 2019, PNG signed the much-discussed EU 240 million Kina grant. Mr. Maru countersigned a program which now authorizes PNG to start drawing down the funds and begin the implementation of the EU-STREIT Program. The The signing occurred 26 days after Honourable Marape was nominated, elected, and sworn in as the 8th Prime Minister of PNG by the National Parliament on May 30th, 2019, following the overthrow of the O'Neill government. Honourable James Marape gained support from the East Sepik people through their governor, Mr. Bird, and was elected as the 8th Prime Minister of PNG. Mr. Marape showed his appreciation by allowing East Sepik to receive the EU 340 million kina. Even though it was an O'Neill government initiative and the hard work was done by the governor and his team, it appears to be a way of maintaining mutual respect and, potentially, political point scoring as a strategy for Honourable Allan Bird to remain loyal to Marape as his tenure as Prime Minister of PNG unfolds.
This program is the biggest, the largest ever investment the European Union has made in not only Papua New Guinea but also in the entire Pacific. And this program is doomed to succeed. It is doomed to succeed because of the large number of efforts and partners involved in the design phase. It took us 2 years of efforts to reach this stage. 2 years of intensive consultations in partnership with the government to find out what we can do best to support agriculture.
You got all member play me lo STREIT. Only stand up strong no support him this la program. I'm organizing now live lo you mean start. To play no start. So me like talk thank you lo you too. You know easy lo believe lo kind something where no got money kissing before. Now you me think you mean up lo kissing. You must got nerve like and believe ligli. Lo you can kiss him something where nerve lo money no kissing before.
We ask him all provincial leadership, give me all open member, plenty time, Mr. Pull him time, talk to much one them governor. You like come up governor, okay, go resist the governor 2022, put him feel governor. No God, man, put him feel governor, I'm slap governor finish. You may come, ask you minister, and lose him title minister, come work when the governor of place.
However, since the election of the Honourable James Marape as the Prime Minister, the state of the economy has been declining. And many people openly argue that Mr. Marape lacks decisive and strategic leadership to save PNG's sinking economy. Corruption has increased, law and order in the country has worsened, inflation is at its peak, businesses are closing down, foreign investment is lacking, forex issues persist, and socio-economic indicators show the country is becoming a failed state. The survival of the Marape-Rosso Government and the Pangu Party is taking priority at the expense of public funds. Amongst many other issues, Honourable Allan Bird resigned from the government to join the opposition. As a populist leader, he chose the future of PNG and its people over the current government. His move deeply unsettled the government and made Mr. Marape uncomfortable. As Bird raised practical questions on the floor of Parliament, he bases his premises on facts, statistics, and empirical evidence. He does his homework and hits the nerve.
Mr. Acting Speaker, that is the reason why I had to let go of my brother Richard Maru and supported Governor Bird for a 300 million kina project in East Sepik. And it's a reason.
There is a growing culture that ministers, prime ministers will always say, me give him, me give him, me give him. The energy of for the development of this country is directed by the front bench of government. 38 ministers determine where this country goes. The rest of us, whether you like it or not, you are told to go back. Maybe I'm giving you 20 million, maybe I'm giving you 10 million. You pass him out to go work lo district lo you. No can come na complain lo ya. No can talk lo big lo money blow government and blow government like blow me blah. That is our current cultural practice. So should anyone be surprised that we are not like Singapore, that we wish to be like them, but we're not? I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because our very practices are cargo cultists. Oh, you blow STREIT should one bell because 340 million and me kissing and give him you pla. That's all you may lose the thing also. One pla vote gonna make him you come a prime minister and you give him something where rightfully belongs to the people of East Sepik because we worked for it. We tend to have short memories and we tend to think that something blow me, be papa blow something. Hold on a minute. Consolidated revenue funds belong to every single Papua New Guinean. They are entitled. This is what's wrong with our country. This is what's wrong with our country. Because time you me holding, but you gonna talk classroom here and me making. No. Money blow people blow Papua New Guinea making. You know you make him. You are just a custodian. No connect to some owner. We need a change in the thinking of the leaders of this country where me, Papa, na Mika, na look at you, blogger. No, God. You know, Papa, you custodian us. There's like in passing, you making. We wonder why our country is all over the place. We wonder why there is no investor confidence. Because they see how we perform here. They see our lack of reporting. They see our lack of a dashboard where investors can come and look now can gauge him also. Is Papua New Guinea an attractive investment destination?
With the recent vote of no confidence, according to his post on September 11th, Mr. Bird said, "Today I voted for the pain our people are going through daily. I want things to change. I voted against personal interest and incompetence. I voted against the high cost of living, lack of power, fuel, forex, etc. I voted against rampant crime and lack of justice for powerless people. I voted against the lack of justice for our women and girls." It goes on to show that the Prime Minister started well, receiving support from many vocal parliamentarians, including Governor Allan Bird. However, as time went on and politics unfolded, his focus shifted from saving the country's economy to prioritizing his political party, Pangu, and its coalition. This shift has consequently led to a loss of trust from senior politicians. That shift has resulted in the Honourable Allan Bird resigning from the Marape-Rosso National Government despite receiving the EU-funded 340 million Kina STREIT Program. Subscribe and like for more similar content.